Oh my gosh, we're live.
The stream is live.
Yeah.
Woo! I might have
With-
to like.
And now to Rich with sports.
Well, that's right. The score is currently 12-23. It's halftime, and of course, we'll see what the second half brings. Now, on to Molly with the Metro Desk.
I guess.
Over here in city happenings, I am delighted to report that the rain continues and everyone around me continues to say, we need it, despite the fact that no one really wants it to be happening. We need
this
it
is Remy.
is the new how do I make it stop?
We needed that.
Yeah.
We needed that. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How's everyone doing? I would like to warn you by saying that my energy headed into 2025 is straight Draymond Green, which my basketball fans will get.
There we go.
Nice.
I took my son to the Christmas Day Warriors-Lakers game.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a
which
good game
was
too.
A great game. I mean, it was arguably like the game of the day. It was like watching those two goats just like put on a show was incredible. And
Historic.
then of course the Warriors lost in the last 6 seconds with a complete failure of defense. And so my son and I went and spent $300 on Draymond Green jerseys so we could take that Q energy into the
Get him back.
just
Yeah.
to indicate that we are ready to fight.
That's good. That's good. Excellent.
Yes. Unhinged, if you will.
Unhinged indeed.
How's everybody
we-
doing? How were your holidays? Happy Hanukkah. Ongoing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're in.
Latkes for all.
Yeah, we. It was quiet, but it was good. You know, we just kind of chilled out with the doggy. We've been spending a lot of couch time with Seven.
Tell us about Squid Game 2.
Ooh.
Okay,
It
we
put
are.
Seven to sleep, but you guys are watching it, which
Almost everything we watch puts Seven to sleep. It's the only way we can watch something is if he is asleep. So, yeah, he was not as into it. Not as many dogs as he would like. You know, in other words, none. But yeah, I was going in with kind of low expectations because I'm like, they made him do a second season. Let's see what he comes up with. But
Yeah.
so far, we are 2 episodes away from the end, and it's a very good story. It's doing all the things. I'm like, okay, you avoided that trap. You avoided that trap. This is interesting. I'm still curious what's going to happen, and can't imagine they're going to wrap it all up in the last 2 episodes. So I feel like, and I've seen a headline that kind of indicated this might be the case too, but I feel like it's pointing towards another season of Squid Game somehow.
dang. Huh.
But
Okay.
I haven't finished it, so I don't know if I'll be at the end. I may go, oh, okay, no, it's fine. You know, it's all wrapped up. Because I know
Nice,
he
great
said he doesn't
DW, yes,
really
we are.
want to make another season.
Yeah.
I would like to report in on Moana 2, which I saw yesterday.
Oh, TF-87, are you saying they already shot? So this is only half a season?
Speaking of things that feel incomplete, Moana 2
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
is the music's not great, but at least the story was not compelling.
Oh, there you go.
So
I read a great piece that was basically like, after having watched Moana 2, we all owe Lin-Manuel Miranda an apology. And I was like, yes, you do. Yes,
yeah, it's
you
like,
do.
does he use like the same chord progressions in a lot of songs? Sure. Are they
Sure.
all bangers though? Yeah.
Also, do we like that? Because that
Yeah.
is like literally the standard set by Andrew Lloyd Webber from
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, Andrew Lloyd Webber's like, you could make a really nice career out of doing that, but
Yeah.
it turns out.
He's like, it turns out that's basically the soul of Broadway at this point. It's like, oh, I know it.
Excuse me, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Sir,
How
excuse me,
embarrassing.
sir. This is an Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Not any Andrew Lloyd
Sir,
Webber. Thank
Andrew
you.
Lloyd Webber.
Thank you.
All right. Well, then I'm happy to know that my Christmas movie selections have included like the crappy Lifetime ones, which we watched 2 of on Christmas Eve with my family.
Nice.
I was like, I love my fam. And last night I watched Godzilla versus Kong: The New Empire.
Oh, nice.
And I will tell you that, by the way, really did capture the attention of my dogs.
Ah,
Yeah, a lot of critters. In that
They're like
movie.
big dogs.
They were like, ooh.
How's your doggy doing?
He got his stitches out yesterday, and he is
Good.
like fine.
Good.
Guys, the squishy cone, the like airplane pillow cone for dogs. Whoa.
Game
Game
changer.
changer.
Yep.
Genuine game changer. Inflatable. And so you can just deflate it and put it away somewhere, unlike with all those other stupid cones. My dog is the kind of dog who like won't even wear a sweater. Like if you put any item on him that is not just a collar, he basically
Rebel.
freezes and
Yeah.
is like, I'll stand here until either you take this off or I die, whichever one comes first. And so the cone thing was like a nightmare, and he would just sort of follow me around and like doink me with it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Please take this off.
I know that vibe.
God, he's the worst.
Just take this off. Take this off.
Could you
Take
just-
this off.
Gunk, gunk, gunk. And I was like, we're not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
make it 2 weeks. And then I ordered the inflatable like donut cone, soft donut cone. Incredible, game changer. So happy right away. And then only a few days in, discovered he could use it to push his brother to the side, like he's like a little like rhino, you know, like he just uses the pillow to like,
He's like, I'm not wearing something. I'm bigger.
I'm bigger. Yes. And so
There's
he
am
more
used-
of me.
so then he spent 10 days using it to bully Milo, and just has never been happier.
Oh
Like,
no.
he got it off
Poor
yesterday, and he was like,
Milo.
I don't know, I'm more agile now, but somehow not
Yeah,
as
but
strong.
I miss my neck.
Hilarious. But yeah,
That's
he
funny.
recovered like a champ. He was a champ. I thought it was
That's
going to be a
good.
freaking
That's
nightmare. As you know, I had a total meltdown about it, and it was fine. Thank
Oh, that's good.
I
That's
know.
very good.
Thank you, capitalism, for solving this problem for me.
And to TF87's point, yes, they shot 2 seasons at once. So there is definitely a season 3
Oh, so
coming.
they're
Lord of
not,
the
in
Ring
fact,
did.
Thank you,
wrapping that up.
TF87.
You are
And as
correct.
Technomensch pointed out, Moana 2 is supposed to be a Disney Plus show, and it painfully feels like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Mhm.
We also watched a thing on Hulu called Light Shop, which is really good.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's one of those ones where it's got a twist, so it's kind of hard to convince you to watch it without telling you the twist. But then if you tell you the twist, then it's not fun to watch. But it starts with all of these people being afraid of this alley. But if you get to the end of the alley, there's this light shop that's open all night that sells light bulbs and lamps and stuff. And so, you can get into the light shop, and the light shop is run by a guy who wears sunglasses. and there's like,
I'm curious.
there's like a guy getting off a bus, and there's just this ghostly looking woman sitting at the bus stop. And so the second night he sees her again, and she has a suitcase, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Do you know me?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, I saw you yesterday." And then she follows him home with the suitcase.
Is this like a David Lynch?
Is it scary? I know it
It
sounds lynchy. And that's a
starts-
great. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Here I think is the hook. It starts scary. The actors in all their interviews talk about how it's such a heartwarming story about relationships. And after the first 2 episodes, Eileen and I were like, how are they possibly saying that? And by the end, we're like, oh no, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm fascinated.
I know. I am curious.
And what streaming platform is this available on?
It's on Hulu and Disney Plus through, in the Hulu tile or whatever.
Gotcha.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
check that out.
I'll peep it.
Light
I will
Shop.
say that all of my romantasy reading is really cutting into what little TV time there was.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of I find myself like I've been trying to watch get caught up on Slow Horses, which is an incredible show.
Yeah, I heard.
And also I sit there and I'm like,
You're like, these horses are a little slow. Let me just look at my
seriously, I just
romantasy
it's
book.
like insane. I'm like, yeah, but
Well, I've got a 11:15 deadline.
Oh my God, let's
I'm
go.
sure we'll hit it, but yeah.
yep. Let's do it.
All right. Do we want to? I have the prediction show first, but the order does not matter. We could start with whatever show you want.
Yeah,
I
let's start
think-
with predictions.
Oh really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't care.
Well, I think if we do nailed it, failed it, it might inflect our predictions a little bit.
Oh, good point. All right.
So,
So
if you're
which-
cool with that, let's just
so
scroll
which-
down and do nailed it, failed it first.
All right.
Okay.
So each of us has to pick a nailed and each of us picks a failed.
I'm not doing that though. I'm just gonna. Sorry, I'm just gonna go through because we have that nice list.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
we do it like a bullpen show.
All right. Yeah, that works
do-
for me.
Do you want me on for it? I do not have to be on.
For nailed failed?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
No offense.
I'm good. No,
Mainly
I'm good.
That'll
because-
yeah, we'll
yeah.
we'll get
good.
through that one
We're good.
fast.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right, clap.
Let's clap it up. I was already leaving town. All right, let's clap it up in 3, 2, 1.
All right. And music in 3, 2.
Give it to me.
Hey, everyone, I'm Molly Wood.
And I'm Tom Merritt.
Welcome to It's a Thing, the weekly podcast supported by you, where every man knows best when his own shoe pinches. Thanks for joining us.
So true.
So true. Only you know if your shoe
You know-
is pinching.
It's a fine line between aphorism and tautology.
It is, isn't it? And also nonsense. At the end of that line, there could be nonsense.
I mean, every man does know best when his shoe pinches.
That's right.
I'm not gonna deny.
Yep.
Although some shoe salesmen might be pretty good at it.
I feel like this is a larger commentary on only you know what's happening on the inside, and everybody can
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
guess. We
Mhm.
can try to guess based on your limp, your hobble, your cries of pain, how many blisters might be occurring in there, but you're the only one who really knows.
Well, we are the only one who really knows which things made it and which things did not in the year 2024. As we wrap things up, we are going to identify the ones we nailed and the ones that failed.
Yeah, it's like a new holiday tradition with a
Yeah.
catchy name. Nailed it or failed it. I have taken the liberty of scrolling all the way down to the beginning of the year so that we can sort of cruise through time, if you will,
Oh, okay.
to
Yeah, yeah.
avoid recency bias.
Got it.
But we thought we would do it's a little bit like a bullpen show. We've just got a nice long list of all the things we talked about. We're not going to go through every one of those things, even though it's tempting. We're just going to try to pull out the ones that we really feel that we nailed or that we whiffed it on.
Now, I'm going to try not to overuse it, but I do believe I have a let's see, where is it? Oh, is it not working?
Nailed it.
Nope, there we go.
There we go.
Nailed it.
And then, of course,
Yes, incredible. I love
and
it.
that sad trombone goes for Indian whiskey, which I think either total failure or too early at
Yeah,
best.
maybe, but definitely did not become a thing.
That was off of an Economist podcast discussion, and I believe Indian whiskey is growing in India.
Sure
where
it
it
is.
wasn't, which it sounds obvious, but like they used to just buy bourbon, whiskey from Ireland and Scotland, and now they have a thriving domestic industry.
Yes, crushed it there. Has not yet
Yeah.
crossed over. I did see one request from the comments about whether we should be sharing this list while we go through it on screen, but what do you think? It's up to you. Tom's in charge of sharing screens.
Oh, actually, Rich is in charge of
Rich is in charge of sharing screens. I think it'll just spoil it. You'll be looking
Yeah,
ahead
because
the
then
whole
you'll just start reading ahead. It's like
You'll
when
be
somebody
looking
has a
ahead.
PowerPoint and you're just reading the PowerPoint instead of listening to them.
Exactly. We're gonna go with it. I think Tom, you brought this one, and you nailed it with my superpower is.
Nailed it.
Yep. My God, if I hear anybody talk about their superpower, especially in a work context anymore, oh boy.
It almost feels too obvious at this point because,
Right.
yeah, everybody's doing that.
But it was in fact called out. I really thought I got fooled here, but in fact, the yellow duck toy for dogs, not really a thing. Not a thing. I should have known at the time when I couldn't find that many on Amazon. And also I bought some for my dogs and they don't really care.
Yeah, that's the key. It was the
Yep.
dog issue. Because not finding them on Amazon could mean like, ooh, they're just too hard to keep in stock for
Right.
people to list or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, didn't go.
You did get the next one though.
Here I thought it was just a bunch of thirsty women for a moment in time, but no, the Jeremy Allen White Calvin Klein ad had staying
Nailed it.
power.
Yeah.
Nailed
And
it.
Jeremy Allen White as an Uber thing, I think, has also had
Mhm.
staying power.
I was just gonna say that he also has staying power, but then that was enough to pause.
we'll get to that nailed later in the year. Spray candy is something I definitely still see, but I don't think it's a thing. It was one of those things like, I'm kind of seeing it. Is it making a comeback? And the answer was no.
No, it did not. It did not grow. However, Welcome In was probably our earliest, biggest nailed it of the year, honestly, because at that
absolutely.
point, like I think people were like, "Really? Are people really saying that?" And then the reports came in from around the world of like every store I go into, "Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome
Yeah,
in."
the Bader Meinhof effect on that was strong with me. Like after we did it on the show, I just every place I went, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I'm like, I had no idea.
I know, it was overwhelming. What a big thing that was. What was not a big thing, and again, it was speculative.
Yeah,
To be fair, I was like, did Taylor Swift start a watch choker trend at the Grammys? Because and the reason I thought it might happen is because you were seeing that kind of convergence of 90s fashion.
Yeah.
And chokers were like a big thing. And she wore this
Yep.
one that had a watch on it.
And it's
I
Taylor
was
Swift
like,
wearing
and
something.
it's Taylor Swift wearing
Yep.
something. But it turns out she does not inspire fashion trends particularly. And this one did not go anywhere. That was a one day only thing.
What was not a
Failed
one day only thing and is probably going to be a decade long thing is Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah. Wowzer. You guys. I mean, again, I have kept it cool on the show, and I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate this in the right way into the prediction show. But the Massiverse, the Sarah J. Maas effect, the cottage industry, literal industry that has sprung out of this, the rise of book talk as a cultural phenomenon, all of this can be attributed straight back to Sarah J. Maas. And frankly, I feel like the reason it's not as big as Harry Potter is just because it's all like female main characters. I can't think of another reason because it has had that big an impact.
It's also adult, whereas Harry Potter was all ages, arguably.
It's pretty YA, Sarah J. Maas. Like adults are reading it. Well, that's true. Kids are not reading it like little kids like they were with Harry Potter, although they shouldn't have been. Anyway, yeah. Sarah J. Maas, I would actually argue quite strongly, and in fact, borderline die on this hill, that she was the biggest thing of the year.
Clearly in book, like there's not even an argument.
Nope.
In media, maybe there could be an argument.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're talking to anyone who likes Sarah J. Maas, you'll lose it.
Well, and that's what's so wild
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
the media is like, this is for women, so we didn't really cover it. Even though, I mean, I was at like a craft fair. There was like a, craft fair in Berkeley or whatever. And the amount of merch related to these books was, it was like every single booth.
Yeah,
It's just this wild. I'm fascinated by the cultural phenomenon that is the size of this over here and the lack of mainstream coverage over here because like it's a chick thing.
I feel like it's covered everywhere in my bubble. So I have a hard time seeing out into whether it's being covered out there or not. Because everybody's talking about it in my world.
Yeah, it was everything. Everything. All right, let's keep going.
Women wanting to buy tiny house communities together.
Yeah, speaking of women things. This just was like, there was some article about it, I think in the New York Times, but honestly, it's all that we ever talk about. It's just all we ever talk about. And then I'll see it pop up on Instagram. And anyway, it has not gone anywhere. It's still totally happening.
Nor has Delulu gone anywhere to the point that I think it's become cliche. It's such a thing.
I think so too. Like I almost didn't highlight it in green because again, much like my superpower is, right? It was just like, yeah, Delulu, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But in fact, I think it came originally in an email and someone was like, is this a thing? And then we were like, oh yeah, this is a thing. And now it's just like breathing.
ChatGPT tried to tell us that multiple iPhone alarms and screenshots of them was a fail and that it was wrong.
Yeah.
That was a fail.
ChatGPT is Delulu because that's such a thing that we made merch out of it.
Yeah.
That people
and you
are
liked
buying
it.
because it's such a thing. Let's see. We're probably in like February, March range right now, and I will tell you that here on December 27th, as we record this, moms do still love Olivia Rodrigo, and so does everybody else.
She's still hugely hot.
She's still hugely hot.
Although Sabrina Carpenter,
I know.
edging in on that.
Swooped in at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get the ox? Nailed it.
Nailed it. No question. Gen Z does not have a single musical identity.
Another one that
Nailed it.
almost seems too obvious, right? Like now it's like, yeah, of course they don't. But that was a really good observation.
Yeah, they really do not. They listen to a little bit of everything, and it is kind of wrecking the music industry because they're like, we don't know how to make a hit.
Yep. We have loud budgeting marked as a fail.
Not really a hit. Not
No.
really a hit. I read this article, in case you can't remember what the heck we're talking about, I read this article about how people were going to talk about their finances out
Yeah.
loud. There would be this loud budgeting thing, and it would take some of the stigma away from money. And it turns out that's a really deep one, like a marrow deep cultural
Yeah.
stigma that people are not quite ready to give up.
And cross-cultural too. Talking
Yes.
about money. Yeah.
Yeah, no one does it.
But everyone's smoking?
But everyone is smoking. I mean, I'm sorry to say that this is a nailed it, but this is a nailed it.
Yeah.
Everybody is smoking. My son told me, like, I don't know, last year or something. He's like, yeah, smoking is back. Smoking is back. Like, not just vaping. And probably because of vaping. And maybe
Yeah.
even as a result of a vaping backlash. Like, vaping makes you look stupid, but smoking makes you look cool. Like,
I'd
and-
almost wonder if it's more of a turn against vaping versus smoking. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely smoking is back, but is it mostly because of that? Like people who were
Right.
vaping are now like, nah, forget that. I'm going to go back to the real thing.
Well, yeah, I think people who are vaping went ahead and addicted a bunch of new people.
Yeah, right.
Great job vaping. We all knew that was going to happen. And then I think some of them chose cigarettes instead, be either to look cooler or because I think it might actually be cheaper. And it's less tobacco. It's less nicotine. Like the incredibly of the two, at least in terms of pure addiction, it seems like smoking cigarettes might be, I'm using heavily major exaggerated air quotes here, healthier or better. Or less
It's not better
addictive.
for your lungs
No.
yet. I mean, there's no evidence that it's better for your lungs, but it's better in a lot of other ways. At least filtered ones, not unfiltered.
Exactly. Also, you look like less of a douche. I'm sorry, but vaping is ridiculous. Less bad. Thank you. That's the word Zoe brings back in.
There we go.
Less
Yeah,
bad.
well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Singer-songwriters is a nailed it overall. I mean, we
Wow.
kind of touched on it with Olivia, right?
Yep, exactly. And then Noah Kahan with that Stick Season being like one of the biggest songs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What was that other one? The Benson Boone. I mean, singer-songwriters
Mm-hmm.
just huge. Like sound of the year if Gen Z were forced to pick one, which they won't.
Yeah, we are in a very 70s gestalt with the singer-songwriter and the woodsy looking stuff and yeah.
The Moss
gnome-
aesthetic. Oh my
the
god.
gnome core or whatever, goblin core.
Goblin core.
Yeah.
We really are. I am surprised that so early in the year, right around Coachella time, what was that, midsummer? Like we've now brought it up about 50 times, so I think it's safe to say nailed it on Pokemon. I think Pokemon was on
Yeah.
the show. Like,
Why can't I? Oh, there it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
Pokemon.
1,000%. Yeah,
We talked about it at least. I think I put it in the lineup 4 separate times, evidently this year.
because it's such
Looking
a
over our
thing.
list,
Well, it's a
such a
thing in
thing.
different ways too, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's Go, and there's the show, and there's the other game related to the thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
Sleep divorces nailed it.
Really? I didn't green that one. Did Rich?
I didn't green that one either. I guess Rich did. Rich says, yeah, I did. Okay. Seems like it was popular. We got some email of
We
people
did.
like, oh yeah, definitely a thing. Vintage Chicos and resort wear. Did we miss that one?
I think I just have to confess that I missed that one. I think there was
Yeah.
like a small
That's a
subset of
good
Gen
one, though.
Zs.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see, but I just didn't. I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one keep going.
Jeep Ducks, on the other hand, was a surprise hit. Like, I was like, hey, anybody know about these Jeep Ducks? And then avalanche of Jeep fan emails like, oh yeah.
Jeep ducks are a thing. It turns out. Also, was a thing, is a thing, still a thing. At least 85% of the Instagram and TikTok videos I see are in fact recorded in their car.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed that.
Oh,
Even saw.
nailed it and like drove the nail deep into the
Just-
wood.
And
Yeah.
in fact, I saw a hilarious spoof the other day. This guy was like, I'm doing a, here are my favorite products. He's like, I'm going to do an unbox of my favorite products after leaving the store. And it was him and his Home Depot products. And he was spoofing all of these women who like do a haul.
Oh yeah.
And, but he had used blue tape to tape actual nails to his fingers, like Wolverine looking at first, but then everything he was like, this is like my absolute favorite must have French lavender. Tapping the nails on the thing, like all these women do in their car haul videos. I was dying. I was like,
That's
oh my
so
God,
good.
this whole thing is the thing top to bottom.
Damn,
Oh,
that's amazing. Also, just a cultural moment, not just a thing, is Kendrick versus Drake, but also Man versus Bear. Kendrick versus Drake lasted a little longer, maybe. I don't know. It was close.
I mean, I think I keep seeing the bear thing happening.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
both enduring.
incredible beefs. The top beefs of 2024. Kendrick versus Drake and Man versus Bear. And then I think we briefly touched on the fact that Not Like Us was like the #1 song on Spotify.
Not just of the summer.
of the year. So I think we continue to know who won that one.
Square phone cases is a nailed it.
I didn't green that one either, but I agree. I think it is a nailed it. Like people picked up the Square phone case. Random.
Yeah, square them off. Square them
Yeah,
off, folks.
and true.
No mocktail backlash, though. And in fact, it looks like we're headed into and granted, we are, in the season where everybody is like, sober January is coming, but the mocktail backlash is the opposite. I feel like they're just gaining strength.
It is. I was very wrong about this. In fact, I even bought a friend a book called Nixology for Christmas. That is a
nice.
list of no, low proof. No one drinks. Like it's wild. No one drinks. Yep. Mocktail backlash did not happen. Also, the Stanley snack tray.
We wanted it. We wanted to manifest it. It
We
just
did.
didn't happen.
But
Yeah.
it turns out everybody actually did figure out at once that was kind of stupid. And then the Stanley cups had their own little milkshake moment, not literally milkshakes in them, but where it was like there's lead in them and whatever.
Yeah,
and they
right.
became kind of attached to too much basic, and they're still very popular,
Mhm.
but they and their assorted accessories, not a thing.
Social battery, though, I keep seeing that one.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
a good one.
That was a good one. Book boyfriends, part of the sort of Massiverse thing, and just this, and a kind of a becoming a thing that you just hear people say even in the mainstream.
Yeah. And wearable fans are just kind of fading into the mainstream now. They're just
Yeah.
a thing I see all the time, like in crowd shots at sporting events, and and they're everywhere.
I know. They're just wearing them.
Yep.
Yep. They're like shirts now and not even a thing. I don't think I remember having this conversation on the show, and I have never heard it since. Using popped when you got hacked, or as business slang.
Yeah. I think that was on one of the ones you were gone. And it had its little moment, and then the bubble for that popped.
I should have
itself.
been here. I should have been here to help you,
Yeah.
but I wasn't.
Also, no polyphenols. No polyphenol fun.
No pop and polyphenols
Yeah.
references. I saw something though the other day that was it was like a product and it was made by doctors and it said something about polyphenols.
Yeah. Sabrina Carpenter, we mentioned, along with Olivia Rodrigo, but also is still having a strong end of year moment as well.
Strong.
And man, teenage boys that look like alpacas. That was
How
a
about-
really good one.
That really was almost, I think, one of our best ones. Like
Yeah.
that, I'll take credit for that one because
That
it made me
explains
laugh
so much for me.
so hard, and it is still such a thing.
I
and
still
it is-
see it. I'm like, oh, that's the thing. That's the alpaca. Okay, that's what that is. Yeah.
In fact, our two back-to-back like male looks, the teenage boys looking like alpacas and hot rodent boyfriends.
Yep.
Like the hot rodent thing is still happening.
Yeah.
Oh, hilarious. God, this show is so funny.
And then I'll take credit for Dubai Chocolate. I thought it was a little early and maybe regional, but it keeps building steam. I'm seeing it in LA now, finally.
Wow, dude.
Like not just in
everywhere.
a couple places, but yeah, multiple
Yeah.
places.
Huge. I cannot go anywhere without having some woman roughly my age or some super buff guy talk about weighted vests and rucking. Like rucking is the fitness trend side of it, and then just weighted vests are kind of the menopausal bone strength women side of it. So pretty much everybody everywhere is rocking a weighted vest.
Brands as flavors also just kind of our world we live in now. If you go to the grocery store, and you hadn't thought about it before, you'll notice it. You know, I used Starburst flavored Sport Energy drink as the thing that pushed me into recording this, but you know, it's Cheetos flavored this, Dorito flavored that. Everything's flavored by some other brand. Oreos everywhere. Yeah.
Hilarious. We also have highlighted in green the broccoli cut, which is basically the same as the alpaca cut, but maybe with more of a perm, and then
and healthier.
And then let's not forget raw dogging.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
And it stayed a thing.
It's still, I still see people referencing it.
Like,
Not just for flights anymore.
no, now there's all, but still not back to the original thing. That
No.
made Tom and I blush when
And
we brought it.
yeah,
No,
right.
Still
It has
not
evolved
back.
even further. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just all kinds of, it's like a thing without assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is just a general term for I didn't get any assistance with that.
Sephora Kids,
Nailed it.
still good? Yeah.
Oh
All right.
yeah. Oh yeah. The Sephora Kids. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Pink Pony Club, real good one too.
That was a good one. Chappell Roan in general,
Yeah.
but Pink Pony Club itself became very specific cultural reference. Even in my Spotify Wrapped, there was like 1 month where it was sort of like you're in your pink pony, like girly this and that, whatever. So Pink Pony
yeah.
itself became like a shorthand for all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that was huge.
And then possibly a contender for Thing of the Year is very demure, very mindful.
Seriously. I mean, that one has all the staying power. It's incredible. Yep. I think so too. I think I'm gonna put that up as a solid recommendation for Thing of the Year.
I've seen at least one instance of someone calling something out as like, oh, you're just riffing off the very demure, very mindful thing. And someone else pointing out that the thing they were talking about predated very demure, very mindful. Like, no, people
taken
said
over.
that word before this year. It's, yeah.
That is hilarious. This one I think is a rich highlight, but Weird Denim still happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty
And
much
getting
still
weirder, I've noticed. I've seen some really interesting pants made of denim.
The year of interesting pets.
the humanity of the traveling weird pants.
I will say that sometimes my social media bubble / my son take me into things that are a little too niche. And the Fruitiger Arrow aesthetic, but specifically Symphony Dolphin, was a little too niche.
I still have hope for that one. You know,
I have hope for the
Yeah,
aesthetic.
I think that one
right?
might still pop for
Okay.
you.
That
So,
would be cool. That would be
yeah.
cool.
Pause.
Pause. Pause is the new That's What She Said, and it's a lot classier, if not always as hilarious. But yeah, we nailed that.
Rich gave me credit for Maple as the new pumpkin, and I think next year will be the proof in that. Maple had a big year, but you know, I don't know if it really has equaled pumpkin. I'm not even going to try to claim it past it.
Yeah, but I think you've caught it on the upswing.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Turns out, although there was evidence in the moment,
Yeah.
people aren't in fact calling shoes stompers.
Not in large enough numbers.
No,
No.
no, that was a fail.
But you got this next one very right. Although it recently took a hit.
It did. It took a hit. So I think it stays a 2024 thing that I'm proud of, which is like Boise State, mainly due to Ashton Jonty and that goth volleyball player had a big.
Oh, right. Yeah, that too.
Exactly. So Boise State had a moment. Ashton Jonty in particular had a moment, but he unfortunately, right at the end of the year, his thingness, although he will remain unbelievably talented and a really exciting football player going forward, he did not win the Heisman. And so his thingness was like a little bit ripped away. But
Yeah.
for the moments that I talked about him in Boise State, thing-a-rama ding-dong.
He may yet, overcome that.
I think he's going to have a good career.
You also called halloumi fries in 2021.
Little did I know. See, that is the other reason that the archive for this show is so wonderful.
Yeah.
Because you never know when something's going to be a slow burn. Halloumi fries was a slow burn, but this is the year it hit.
Yeah. That's why some of these I'm like, don't call it a fail quite yet. Maybe,
You're right.
Maybe we just
You're
hang
right.
out. Yeah. Because you might have called halloumi fries a failure back in 2021.
Yeah, good point.
Just needed to cook.
Needed to cook.
Needed
if
to
you
let it
will.
cook.
Blue Sky been cooking.
Yeah, Blue Sky has had a huge moment. I am with you on whether it really is going to be a solution or not. But it's definitely got a lot of people talking.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course there was, I mean, in terms of just the thing meter, there was a
Yeah.
huge rush to it and people started using it all of a sudden. So boom, it's a
Yeah,
thing.
and it gained millions and millions of people per day. You know, like it still has a long way to go before it can be at scale that is similar to X or Facebook or whatever. But yeah, it's rolling. And I think the thing that caught my eye is whole communities moved to it.
Yes.
Not just people. You know, like you started to hear about like, oh, my such and such Twitter is now on Blue Sky.
Yep. And that is definitely a sign. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. We'll see.
Yep.
And I just saw we'll just finish with mustache mullets, like a very recent identification, but oh my Lord, I saw some epic ones at the Warriors game today. And I'm like, yeah, that's, I mean, again, 70s aesthetic, right? Like that's right where we are now. And
this is a great example of maybe it's not still around in January, you know, but it is a thing right now. There's no disputing that. You nailed it.
Huge thing. Huge thing. There were several other things in here that I think, but again, recency bias will be the guide. But I think we can all agree we all nailed it together. And a lot of the things on this list came from you. So let's see what else you have for us to close out the year. Feedback@itsathing.me is where you can email us. We got an email from Larry from Columbus on cards and cookies, saying, while I was at an indoor sporting event with one of my children, I noticed about half a dozen teen boys clustered around a vending machine that was probably twice the width of a normal pop or soda machine. The top couple of rows were all sports trading cards, and the bottom 3 rows were all Pokemon cards. So that seems to confirm that sports cards are a thing, and even more confirmation that Pokemon is a thing. And after you discuss crumble cookies, I think late night cookies are the thing. There's even a chain called Insomnia Cookies, and part of their strategy seems to be targeting campuses, as I've run across them on 2 college visits with my teens now. The cookies are served nice, ooey gooey warm, and I quickly went from, that's expensive for a cookie, to take my money.
It's crazy how fast that can happen. Thank you very much, Larry.
Oh, that's great.
Speaking of Stanley, Jack has a Stanley thing. Hi, Thinksters. I figured that since the Stanley mugs were such a big thing that the notice about a recall would be relevant.
Incredible.
And a link to the Consumer Product Safety Commission recall for Stanley travel mugs due to a burn hazard.
Now, to be clear, these are not the Stanley tumblers.
Right.
That everybody has been into, but still, it's just like a little bit of a...
The mug's lid threads can shrink when exposed to heat, causing the lid to detach during use, posing a burn hazard. In other words, you could spill your coffee.
This one's more like the thermos style,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still though, the Stanley shine is off a little bit. Technomensch writes in on gibbets. I can confirm that a year later, gibbets are still a thing. Was visiting someone in the hospital this weekend. Nothing was wrong. They're doing fine. Oh, Technomensch, thank you, because immediately, that triggers like the mom thing, like, are you okay? And said, wanted to report that at least 5 different nurses were wearing Crocs with gibbets. I had completely forgotten they were a thing until I searched the chat.
Oh my gosh. That show on Hulu I was telling you about earlier today, Light Shop, one of the characters is a nurse who wears Crocs with gibbets that light up when she walks.
What? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Crocs are 100% the new dance go. Like the Crocs are the shoes that nurses and chefs and service workers all wear when they're on the fetal light. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, let's get to our shout outs. As you might know, our shout outs are not just saying someone's name and saying thank you. Oh no, it's more than that. Our shout outs are custom created based on the most interesting things on the internet that our producer Rich can find. This week's shout outs are based on a selection from the memoirs of Prince Metternich describing the conduct of the Prussian delegation at the Congress of Vienna. Of course.
Of course. Wow. Okay. Well,
How
this will be
seasonal.
fun. How seasonal. All right, let's see. Laura Abel only brought to the Benjamin Forrest Congress an immoderate desire for extending her possessions at the expense of all Mike Akins, and without regard to any principle of justice or even of Brian Gianfrancaro. This passion for conquest had its origin neither in the character of Kevin Sill nor of his Joe Hood minister. For Baylor Trucks, although below mediocrity in intellect and judgment, is yet at bottom a good sort of man, and Chancellor James C. Smith one of the best that ever existed.
Sort of a backhanded compliment there.
Harsh.
But the system of Jake Woods does not depend, after all, either on Louis St. Amour or Prince Lee Price. This system, founded and pursued for the last century, has found fresh support in the general enthusiasm of Gabriel Cohen, in the energy of A.B. Puppy, and in the irresistible power which a certain number of distinguished Eric Duncan exercise at present on the cabinet. Since the moment of A.J. Venturalla's resurrection, the principal object of this SW Texas has been the total acquisition of Morris Jones.
And I am appalled.
Indeed. Wow, what a 2024. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to start the new year.
An incredible year. We could not do it without you. Literally, patreon.com/itsAthing is where you can support this show directly and keep it happening for yet another year, because the things, they are infinite.
Yes. In fact, they are infinite thanks to you. Keep emailing us your things, feedback@itsathing.me. And of course, if you got a little holiday money to spend, you might want to head over to our shopping page, itsathing.me/shop.
Check it out. See you next year.
Bye, everybody. Happy New Year.
Don't need no flashlight. See the truth.
Clap. All right, we should probably roll right into the next one, huh?
Yep.
Yep.
Works for me.
Let's
All right.
do it.
Here we go. And 3, 2.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Hey everyone, I'm Molly Wood.
And I'm Tom Merritt.
Give it to me.
And I'm producer Rich.
Welcome to It's a Thing, the weekly podcast supported by you, where if a race could be won after the first gallop, thousands would wear blue ribbons. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, I'm taking a minute to parse this one.
It's a long game.
Don't call it early. Just because you start well doesn't mean you'll finish well.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a
Although it does
marathon, not
depend
a
on
sprint.
It does depend on the type of race. I'm assuming there are shorter horse races. Is there a 50-yard dash of
Horse
horses?
racing?
Like
Yeah.
equivalent? I don't know.
I think, stay with me, I think it may not refer specifically to horse races. I'm throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
It might be metaphorical.
You mean like it could include dog races?
A
Or
galloping
pig
dog?
races.
Yeah.
Or hedgehog races?
Pigs always want to come out of the gate strong, but you got a pig race is longer than you think it is. That's a lot
Yeah.
of bulk.
You got to look at the haunches.
Definitely applies to possum races.
100%. 100%.
Oh, sorry. Seven the dog saw his first possum this week.
Ooh, how'd that go?
It was
Was he
very much
terrified
a
like
like,
all of us?
what is that?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't barking at it. He wasn't trying to run away from it. He was just kind of slowly pulling me like, can we go look and see what that is? Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
kind of how
think
we
I
all
want to
feel.
bark at it, but I'm not sure.
And the possum's like, I know what I want to do.
Possum was just slowly ambling away. Like, please don't run after me. I'm a possum.
I'm probably sick if I'm out in the day. Okay.
It was nighttime. It was nighttime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're on possum time then. Okay.
Yeah.
You're on possum time.
We are also out of time for 2024. So it
Yeah.
is time to check in on our predictions from last year on what we thought might become a thing in 2024 and then make our new predictions for 2025.
That's right. It is. Although last week I said, see you next year. This is, in fact, our last show of the year.
No, this will be the first show of 2025.
It will? Okay. This will be
Yes.
the first show. Good. I was right. Nailed
Yes.
it.
Nailed it.
There we go. Whoo. Awesome. All right. Let's start with our look back, shall we? Let's see how we did in 2024 at our predictions. I said it looks like that 2024 would be the year of blaming Ozempic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure for what in retrospect, maybe for like being too skinny or
Like a
I think-
backlash. Yeah.
or, it would be like, oh, she's taking when you see all the red carpet things and these women are like a little disturbingly thin, and some of the men, you'd be like, yeah, they're on Ozempic. I think that did happen a little, but I don't think Ozempic was widespread enough or available enough. Like I
think
definitely saw some people who were like a little too skinny, and I was like,
There's
think
starting to be a little bit of a I don't think it's as safe as everyone says. I don't think it's as great as everyone says. I don't know if I've seen that end of it that's starting to cook.
I think so too. I think this is just too early. I think
Yeah.
I think there isn't enough Ozempic out there. Like they haven't made enough
Yeah.
for it to be as big a cultural reference point, although it's
We haven't gotten over the like, oh, but it seems like it's great, like it's gonna make you live longer and not want to eat as much, but without having to have surgery. Like we haven't gotten over the crush, right? we haven't
and the crush
we're
may still be
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to say goodbye to the crush either. I think
Yeah, right,
I've
right.
heard of some people late in the year getting prescribed Ozempic, and I'm like, hallelujah, right? It's gonna be great for your health, I think, overall. But yes, we have yet for it to be widespread enough to become a total cultural reference point and or see full backlash /
Yeah, we need more saturation.
Yeah.
For yes.
I think you've got saturation and cultural awareness going for you in your second prediction, but also possibly still too early.
Yeah. Are we trading, or should I just do them all?
No, just go through
I'll
all
just do
yours.
them all. I said that there would be a Taylor / Travis wedding for the ages. And look at these responsible young people just like getting to know each other, taking their time.
Yeah.
I was ready for America's royal wedding, but it did not.
They were busy with work.
They were
She had
busy
the
with
Eras
work.
tour. He had footballs, Super Bowls.
Balls and stuff. Yeah. So those two, they seem fine. I have no reason to think they're not fine, but
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the
they
wedding
didn't rush in. Fools rush in.
if the wedding happens in 2025 or if it's announced, whatever, is it less hot than if it had happened in 2024? As like, are we?
Well, that's
Is the-
2025 prediction
Okay.
territory.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rich.
hold on.
We're still looking
Okay.
backwards. We're not here to
Reel
talk
it
about the
in.
future.
Fair enough.
Reel it in.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Reel it in. And then finally, I said that there would be a backlash against weed culture. And I knew at the time that it was wishful thinking, and it somewhat remains wishful thinking. But I'm still tired of getting smoked on.
Also,
everywhere.
surprisingly, not as mainstream yet as
Weed
you might
culture?
have thought it would be.
maybe this is literally my bubble.
Yeah,
And I'm
well,
just like-
California bubble.
I'm like, you
specifically,
just
right?
wait. You just wait, everybody.
Yeah, it's getting there. My 2024 prediction about fashion was eclectic grandpa style, retro streetwear, chic cardigans, customized clothing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
I-
that.
I-
Are you giving it to me?
Yeah, I'll
Like
give-
it definitely existed. It definitely
Good
was
answer.
out there.
Good
Yeah.
answer. Yeah. Didn't take
Yeah.
over, but like that all sounds right. We may not call it eclectic grandpa, but it's all out there.
Yeah. Maybe that the name was off, but the style was right.
And you know what it incorporates too? It incorporates some goblin core effects because it's
Okay.
like cozy,
Yep.
like it's sort of
Right.
outdoorsy like that. I actually think that even if the name didn't catch on, this was in fact the look.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
sure.
take that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
take
gonna
that
give you.
for
I'm
sure.
gonna say you
Yeah.
nailed that one.
The other one was cafe core. And I put something jelly dishes in cafes. That would definitely I don't even know what I was thinking there.
Wow.
I can't even explain what that means. But cafe core, it also exists, but I don't know if it really rose to thing level.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I see what you
Although
were going for, but yeah, maybe not
Yeah.
quite.
maybe not quite. Maybe just too specific. It's too specific.
Especially the jelly dishes thing.
The jelly dishes thing was adorable. That was adorable.
You
I
were
have
just
no
going
idea what that was.
But I did find a year-end review of men's fashion trends that specifically calls out eclectic grandpa style as having dominated. So
Okay,
great
so
job.
it survived as a term of art, even if the term didn't make it in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Well, in the URL it says refined streetwear. So that to
Yeah.
me is just going.
That's the more
is-
mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. You got
Okay,
it.
thank you.
I'm going to take no credit for my prediction of being vocal about owning media. Like people like look at my DVD. I still got my DVD collection. Was like the thought of that,
gotcha.
like
yeah,
like a
Right.
pride of ownership or something like that. Because I was thinking like everybody's tired of streaming services. There will be, but I don't. I've heard no
possibly too early.
one. Possibly.
you know?
Possibly.
Also, LG's not making Blu-ray players.
It's true. Yeah.
It's a commitment,
Yeah.
It's hard to make it mainstream because it's a commitment, but maybe.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And then my other one was kind of a miss too. Slow messaging or sending letters. This may have just been me being in a mood.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, you wanted to be eclectic grandpa.
I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to live the
Analog.
eclectic grandpa life.
I
of
definitely
sending
still
letters.
see people talking about wanting to do it or wanting
Yeah.
it to be a thing, So I'd give you at least half credit for that.
I would say so too. I think there's a little analog undercurrent
Yeah.
in society that I think you're picking up on.
Yes,
There's
it's
there's
pleasant
fewer
to-
people doing it than talking about how it should be done, but yeah, it's definitely a vibe.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to what we think is going to happen in 2025. I am bringing over a Taylor Travis wedding for the ages.
Yes. Okay. Now, Rich. Now you can
Now,
go.
do you think it would be a bigger deal if it happened in 2024 versus 2025? Has any
I
of the
think-
shine worn off the novelty of the relationship?
I think the shine has worn off. I think it would be less of a deal. I mean, I think it'll still be like
Oh, yeah.
America's royal wedding or whatever, but had it happened in 2024, it would have been like a supernova. But now there's definitely a lot of like, I'm over Patrick Mahomes and
Yeah,
as a result, leading into kind of like nobody likes a lot of people like a dynasty, but a lot of people don't like a dynasty. So people are tired of the Chiefs and seeing them all the time. And Yeah.
Chiefs fatigue. He's not. It's mostly with Travis, if I'm being honest, because he's not like quite the elite player he was also.
Right.
And he's getting more on the media side, so I think that's it.
Oh, and that Netflix game, that was all the pregame was about, was Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Okay.
And having had him on my fantasy football team all season, I can tell you that while he's had some good games, he has not, in fact, been the big breakout. So, yeah, it might be a more muted affair, but the media won't care. They will still turn it into America's royal wedding.
Perhaps you could phrase it as it will go from riding a wave to resurrecting. It would bring some interest back, but it wouldn't supercharge it like you were saying.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I predict that in 2025, drinking will make a comeback.
Everybody gonna be drinking in 2020.
This is not a political.
Is this a personal prediction?
This is not a personal.
I
or
see a
political.
lot of drinking for me and the world.
And I know that I may be telling on myself because last year I said mocktail
Yeah.
backlash was going to be a thing, but I do think that this is just a pendulum situation, right? When you see so many people not drinking, then drinking will get some cachet back, much like we saw a move from vaping to smoking cigarettes. And I'm starting to hear, and there's enough concern about drugs. Like young people are legitimately, thank God, freaked out about like weed being laced. And there have been enough and it's sort of like you can trust a little bit what comes out of a bottle or if it can. Like I don't
Yeah.
think kids are gonna not want to get messed. I just think like there could be all of a sudden people might rediscover like, oh, wine
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
lovely.
Or cocktail culture making a comeback. I could
cocktail
absolutely
culture.
see,
Yeah.
like more, I won't even say responsible drinking, but more sophisticated drinking, right?
Yeah.
Not just like, let's all get smashed with Bush Light.
Not for the hoi polloi, but
Yeah.
yeah, nice Nick and Nora.
Not like when I was a kid.
I also think you might see people just getting straight up smashed because it's gonna be like
Yeah.
pretty.
all right,
It's gonna
all
be
right,
pretty wild
fair.
out there.
Yep.
So either as coping mechanism, but more likely, yes, I think it'll become more of a like an artisanal, like, oh, I'm now drinking for the enjoyment of wine pairings or
Yeah.
a perfectly
yeah.
crafted cocktail and then you might start to see the walk back. I don't know for sure, right? But the walk back of the studies that are just like drinking is unsafe in any amount. You should never do it. You will die immediately, right? Like there was a really hard line in the scientific and medical community that came out about alcohol in 2023 and 24, and people were just like, oh crap, okay, I guess I'm not doing that. I feel like they might walk that back a little bit. We'll see. Drinking. And then finally, I pray. Okay, two things lead to this prediction. I think WhatsApp is going to be a huge deal. Not that it hasn't been a huge deal globally, I know. But I think you're going to see a lot of people's what used to be social media posting. And what used to be people's group chats migrating to WhatsApp. And I say this for two reasons. One, social media is bad and keeps ruining the country / conversation / nobody actually knows what's true and maybe nothing is because you all live in social media bubbles. And two, or B, texting is broken. At long last, this is probably more of a conversation for Tom's show, but like
Yeah, right.
RCS is not working or helping. And any group chat that includes iMessage, like an Apple plus Android, like it's all gotten so complicated and broken. Like some people turned off RCS because of the FBI stuff, and then sometimes it just doesn't work, and then sometimes it does work, and whatever. And it's all so complicated that I have had 3 group chats be like, "Should we move to WhatsApp?"
Ah.
Can I give two? Can I
did
give
any
two
of
bits of
them move
backup
yet?
for this?
2 of the 3 have moved.
Ah, okay.
Can I give some backup for this?
Yeah.
Which again may trend into Tom show. More internationally, but we're seeing more like, hey, we should not let minors onto social media. Australia has like a social media ban that they've been trying to do. Guess what's still going to be allowed? Messaging apps. WhatsApp probably will be the recipient of everything that was social media, to your point, Molly. And CISA basically says don't use texting anymore. It's completely unsecure because Chinese threat actors are in our networks. So switch to encrypted messaging, WhatsApp being the most popular. Hey?
Yep.
Eh?
I think both of those trends are coming along, and there's just that internationally people use it more, and so it's like more people have it if they travel a lot, and post COVID people are traveling more, so they, I think it's just this so kind of like collection of things that I think there's going to be a big migration from WhatsApp and hopefully a decline in social net posting because it just
Parents
isn't.
asking, what is this WhatsApp?
I'm gonna.
Parents have it. Gen Z does
That's
not.
That's true.
Yeah.
If we could just pause to let all the Europeans shout right now,
Yes,
shout
yes.
shout all of your criticisms about this. Right here we go.
We know.
There's
There we
2
go.
billion
Okay.
users. We get.
Let me remind you that no one uses WhatsApp in Japan or Korea or China. So it's WeChat, it's KakaoTalk,
Yes.
it's Line.
Line,
I
yeah.
don't think Molly's saying WhatsApp's going to take those over.
No.
It's just that it's going to become a bigger thing, especially in the U.S. and
In
as Rich
the
pointed out,
US.
Australia.
I'm specifically speaking to the U.S. market at this point. I think you're going to see a lot more like Gen Xers and Boomers and whatever suddenly finding themselves in WhatsApp group chats.
I think a lot of them will be talking about their new urban farming ventures.
Ooh,
Tell me more.
good one.
So I think this is just one. I've seen a lot of articles about how-tos about like, oh, here, growing herbs inside or doing a little gardening. Remember that thing you picked up in COVID? Maybe bring it back. You can trust where your food comes from if you grow it yourself. This is a very broad one, so it can encompass a lot of things. But I feel like that's one or more things in the area of urban farming are going to pop up this coming year.
I 100% buy this. That's a really
yeah.
good one. Mm-hmm. For lots of, there's prepper vibes in the air.
Yeah,
There's fear about the cost of food and tariffs. There's like a whole bunch of stuff that's percolating.
There's a lot of people talking about food health, and and
that too.
yeah.
Totally got freaking bird flu and E. coli and all of these.
Yep.
It's safer to grow your food at this point, possibly.
Yeah, I think, and whether it sticks around or not is not in the purview of this prediction. This is just, I think it's gonna have a couple of things, one or more things in the coming year.
Yeah.
And then my other one is, I've seen it called skinimalism, but I'm trying to avoid using the term like Electric Grandpa that might not be in use, but skincare simplification. So both on the environmental packaging, ingredients, like awareness around that, but also the health reasons of like, I don't want to put so many things on my skin, and this particular brand is tested safe and effective, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. You would know this more than we would too, because you got it in-house, but
I've got the inside line. Yeah.
And this also, like, that's a good pitch on social media, to like in a reel, right? Like
This would be
to me,
almost more of a marketing thing than a reality thing. That
Yeah.
We'll see if it's got reality or depth. I'll rely on Molly's podcast to tell me that.
totally. But
Does
no,
it
I
actually help the
could
environment? I have no
definitely see this. Yes, people just being like, "Wow, there's a lot of crap in there,"
idea.
and
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
And skincare routines have been getting more and more popular. Like, right, they
yeah.
more and more people talking about them, sharing their routines. And so as that happens, I think some people are going to start to go like, well, I used to have this elaborate 10-step routine, but I've scaled it back, and I'm trying to be more environmentally aware about plastic beads and all of that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
This
I
one's a
should've-
little farther out on the limb for me, but I think it's got a good shot.
I should have highlighted hyaluronic acid as a nailed it for last year, actually.
Oh, you
In
should have.
retrospect.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That one was a big one. Now it would be simplified to just that. And that and collagen, we're done.
This year will be hyaluronic base to negate the acid.
But bump.
Ha. All right, Rich, what do you got?
What do you got?
All right, yeah, I'll close this out with two can't miss ones. Speaking of things that could end up just sounding like marketing things, but I think we're going to hear more about biodynamic agriculture or like biodynamically grown stuff. Molly, I have you to thank for even knowing what that is. But if you're not familiar with it, it's it kind of was like it's very old. It's kind of similar to the idea of growing things organic, but it's more about I don't know. If you read about it in Wikipedia, it says it's almost like a spiritualism kind of returning. You're burying stuff in the ground that belongs there. You're keeping everything together. Molly, if you have a better way of explaining
It's
this.
more, it's just a return to like more natural farming. So it's getting rid of monocrops, which we know are like super extractive for the environment and also kill us, because if you just only grow one kind of crop ever, you have to keep giving it more and more and more fertilizer because you got to fight off pests and whatever. And so there's this kind of move toward it encompasses all kinds of things: regenerative agriculture practices, crop rotations, planting cover crops so that when it rains, like all your soil doesn't wash away, soil remediation. Like there's just sort of a bunch of things that are designed to make food growing more sustainable, both like in terms of impact, but also like grow better food more easily and without
Wow.
so much.
It sounds
It's
like
actually fascinating. It's a huge thing.
It sounds like a modern extension of all of the sustainability stuff they taught us when I was in high school. They would take us out, and show us like, this is why you need to have tree rows, and this is why you need to rotate the crops and all of that. And this is like the modern extension of that.
But outside of those benefits, I think we'll start seeing it almost as a marketing term if we, if we haven't already. At least from my Ohio perspective, that is not in the grocery store, but I think we will see more of that.
Super interesting.
Then my other one is Molly kind of going along with you of being like, we don't know what's going to happen in 2025. Maybe drinking becomes a thing. I'm thinking maybe people won't want to spend a ton of money traveling. So I'm saying elaborate staycations are going to be a thing. We kind of all did the post-lockdown. We got to do all our travel. We haven't traveled in forever. We got to travel for a couple years out of that. So it's like let's maybe hunker down. Okay.
Yeah.
Still go crazy. But elaborate staycation. That's what
Work on our urban farm. Drink bottles of wine.
We'll take an Uber to the downtown hotel and drink.
Yeah.
while eating the cherry tomatoes we grew last year.
Yes.
Post about it on our group WhatsApps as opposed to Instagram because we're taking things smaller. Ooh,
We have our remote Travis and Taylor wedding reception.
Yeah.
That we're having in our town.
At the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm liking this.
Our
all good.
predictions are of a piece, and our piece suggests that we are anticipating some minor apocalypse vibes, but
So I asked Jackie what her prediction was, and she just said, "I can't just say dumpster fire, right?" And then, so I was like, "Well, drinking. I mean, we're kind of,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
There's
go.
coping mechanisms. There's preparation. We've got it all for you.
Yeah, we got
predictions
coping
We've got it all.
good. Yeah.
we're ready. We're ready. We're ready for 2025. We are ready.
We only have one last thing to do before we hit 2025, and that's thank the folks who support us at patreon.com/itsthething.
You are the best. You literally keep the show on the feeds. I just always want to say airwaves. I can't help it. Thank you for supporting us genuinely at any level. Patreon.com/itsthething. It all helps. It all keeps our butts in the seats. It keeps the show going. And we are so grateful for your support. And those of you who support us at the shout out level, you're our favorites. And you're our favorites because today's shout outs are based on the unicorns setting, because that's what you all are. unicorns of horses.neocities.org.
Just want to go alternate.
Yep.
All right. Some Kevin Sill facts.
Valor Trucks smells great.
Gabrielle Cohen is magical.
Jake Woods is your good buddies, especially in times of crisis.
Joe Hood is not found in Eric Duncan mythology, but rather in the accounts of S-Dub, Texas. For Lara Abel, writers of natural history were convinced of the reality of A.B. Puppy, which they located in James C. Smith, a distant and fabulous realm for Mike Akins.
The earliest description is from Lee Price, who, in his book Brian Gianfrancaro, or On A.J. Venturella, described them as Wild Benjamin Force, fleet of Morris Jones, having a Louis Saint Amour a cubit and a half, that's 700 millimeters or 28 inches in length, and colored white, red, and black.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you,
Your
patrons.
unicorns! The unicorns of patrons. Welcome to another year of It's a Thing. We are honored and delighted to be here. Once again, if you want to support us in the new year, patreon.com/It's a Thing. You can also get an ad-free RSS feed out of that, which I think we can all agree is priceless.
Indeed. Well, except we charge
In these troubled
price,
times.
but really, we're
it-
charging too little because it's
Price-ish.
priceless.
Listen-ish.
You can also support the show by buying some stuff through our links. Go check it out at it'sathing.me/shop and keep those email things coming in the new year. Feedback at it'sathing.me.
Yay! See you next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Don't need no flashlight. See the truth. Gotta keep it hiding.
Ba-bum-bum.
Did it.
We did it.
Yay.
God, it's such a good feeling too when you know you just like knocked out two and you're like, all right, we should chill.
Solid stuff.
Because I am
we had a-
but 3 days away from the next best thing of 2024 for me.
CES.
Oh no, I'm going to Vegas before I go to Vegas for CES
Ooh.
to see Creed at Caesar's Palace with
Yeah.
my bro hand. With arms wide open. I was about to be like, Creed making a new album is going to be a thing. And no, just
You should have. You should have just thrown that in there. Why
I
not?
need
I
a
hope they do,
report
you guys.
on if the set list differs at all.
I know, and I hope it does. I'm just like,
Where is Creed playing in Vegas? Caesars?
Caesars.
Like in the nice.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
venue.
I'm excited. I've never been to a show at Caesars.
We have
I
we
got
been to
leather
a
pants.
show? Yeah, we saw. Who did we see at Caesars? I think it was Adele. Was it Adele?
It's me, Adele.
It's me, Adele.
No.
I'm gonna move out for Creed.
Oh my God! Please have a guest appearance, Adele. Please join them on
I'm
stage.
still here. I haven't left.
Oh my God! Incredible.
What a
Yeah.
duet.
Oh, you're
Thanks,
welcome,
gang.
Ronald DR321. You're
I know.
welcome.
It's
We
our
do
pleasure.
YouTube every time.
We do.
now.
I know,
We've been
just-
we've been doing it
Now.
regularly. So keep
One
an-
thing
keep
we
an eye
may
out.
try to do in 2025 is promote the show some more and let people
Yeah.
know
Hey,
about
we had a
stuff
pretty
and stuff.
good live audience. Turns
Yeah.
out everyone on
Yeah.
vacation, middle of the day, works
I
out.
know, right? Not so
Nice.
bad. All right, everyone, enjoy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody!
Y'all are the best.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.